Welcome back to the Thursday evening Cowboy Fashion Report. This evening I've got on a very seductive pearl snap shirt. Those pearl snaps. This shade of black is called Scorched Sugar. And boys, let me tell you, if you wear scorched sugar out in public, you want to carry a can of woman repellent because it will make their little hearts flutter. Scorched sugar. Well, today I thought we would discuss ass chewing. Now, any of you that ever punched cows, one of them big outfits back when I was, if you worked there for more than a couple hours, you probably got an ass chewing for somebody. And the ass chewings wasn't no big deal. You took them, and they were given with some incentive usually, and then it was over and it was done. Nobody got mad. Nobody got butt hurt like most people in society today. You didn't puff a lip up or go pout, and you just took them. And if you listened, you learned something. Some of my favorite ones come from people like Bobby Allen, Cole Morehouse, Monty McCloy. And the first one Bobby ever gave me, even back in 1990 at the Pitchforks, there within a jig line, trotting across the breaks, gonna make another drive, and one of them cut bank trails. And I was behind Bobby, and I was real close. I didn't pay it no mind. Well, here in a minute, Bobby slammed on the brakes. And we had a rear end collision, and I just almost get up and saddle with him. Well, he had me right where he wanted me then, where he could talk real plain and I could hear real plain. He says, "Sean, get that son of a bitch's head out of my horse's ass." I said, "Yes, sir, Bobby." And after that, I paid a lot of attention to how close I was behind somebody else when we were jig trotting or anywhere else for that matter. Now, probably the best ass chewing that I ever saw Bobby give, my favorite anyway, and I called James a while ago to visit with him about it, and he sure enough, he remembered it too. James was the wagon boss there at the Forks in '93 when I was there, and him and Bobby's kinfolk and good friends, and this just goes to show that if somebody like Bobby, nobody was immune to ass chewing. It didn't matter who you was. If Moses had come down and he thought he parted the Red Sea wrong, Bobby would have chewed his ass out, told him how to do it right. So we was dragging calves up there. That first calf heifers, we had them up in North Shenry, and had a set of portable panels set up. I was trying to remember the pasture we had it. I thought it was in one called Gage Corner, and James told me it might have been Dripping Springs, but been a long time. I get them pastures mixed up. So anyway, we was come southeast corner of North Shenry. Any of y'all been to Pitchfork before, and we had several hundred head of these first calf heifers with longhorn calves on them, weighed about 150, 120 pounds. And Bobby and James was dragging and had a big crew, had two sets of flankers on each side of the fire. And for those of you that have never been in Brandon, that part of the country, and lots of other places too, whoever's dragging, if you're dragging to this side, that's the side you drag to, those two flankers. And you don't cross over and bring calves over here to this guy's side. And he does the same, respect for you. And there's a reason for it. It's safety, for one thing. You don't get crossed up, rim fired, and all that stuff. So that's just the way it's done. Whether you agree or not, I agree. I like it. But on this particular day, Bobby and James was dragging, and they're both handy with the rope. James, he was 61. I mean, James was 42, he said. Bobby was 61. And Bobby, after a while, I guess his old arm got to hurt him. He wasn't keeping both flankers filled up as fast as James was. Don't get me wrong, he's still bringing the fire. Well, James had both flankers filled up and had another calf, and he was sitting there, and here in a minute, he just brought that calf onto us. We was on the inside flanking crew there on Bobby's side, and we flanked him, and I heard Bobby say something and looked up, and he was coiling his rope up, hung it on his saddle, and he rode right up there in the middle of James, who is the wagon boss, and said, "James, am I not dragging these sons of bitches fast enough for you?" And James went to apologizing, of course, because he had all the respect in the world for Bobby, and he knew he was right. But it was something a lot of people would have done that day. But Bobby knew he was right, and he was in the right, and nobody was immune. And James took his ass chewing and kept the dragging calves, and everybody was happy. Ought to be more like that in society today. Everybody would get along a little better and learn something, I think. I'll see y'all next week. Y'all keep snapping.